Hello everyone, Dr. Victoria Skirbo here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center in Wareham, Massachusetts. We're going to be doing a taroscope for the sign of Scorpio for August of 2021. That would be for you Scorpio suns, Scorpio moons, Scorpio ascendants. And if maybe you have a full eighth house, that's the Scorpio house. Um, and maybe you have a very prominent Pluto in your chart that makes you Scorpionic. As an example, I have both Mars and Pluto, both in Virgo actually, in my first house. And Mars and Pluto are the two signs, are the two planets that rule Scorpio. So this could apply to me as well. Um, so it kind of depends. The more you know your chart, the more you'll actually get out of these readings. But let's take a look. We're going to start with the tarot reading. Oh, no, before we do that, let me find my calendar. 1 second. So in the month of August, there is no planets in Scorpio save for the moon. And the moon is in Scorpio, let's see, from the 13th, from Friday the 13th, how apt, until Sunday the 15th. So that weekend, the moon is in Scorpio. Pluto actually is pretty quiet. It does make some aspects to the moon, of course. Different aspects depending on what sign the moon is in. But Mars is pretty active this month. Now, Mars is in Virgo, but it does make some aspects, and Mars is one of your ruling planets. And so you will, while everybody feels it, you may feel it a little bit more deeply, which of course which is really what Scorpio does. Scorpio feels everything deeper than anybody else, right? So let's see. We have Mars. I was just looking at this. Some of them are easier than others. On the 13th, Friday the 13th, when the moon's in Scorpio, right? When I just said that, right? We have an inconjunct between Mars and Saturn. Saturn is in Aquarius. Mars is in Virgo. And this is actually an inconjunct that has a Scorpio flavor. So there's another sort of Scorpio energy within this. So Friday the 13th is going to be an intense day for Scorpios in August. The inconjunct creates a crisis and requires us to make an adjustment. And it is a Scorpio side inconjunct. And so the adjustment needs to be an emotional adjustment, which of course we know that we can't really adjust the way we feel. We can only really feel through things, and we're required to let go of something at that time. So there's that. That's happening. And then on, let's see, Mars. Mars makes a conjunction to Mercury on the 18th. So your minds and your action are on the same page. That's going to be in Virgo. And Mars makes a trine to Uranus on the 22nd, which is also the day of the full moon. And the full moon is in Aquarius, and Uranus rules Aquarius. So there's all these connections here with this. Mars trine Uranus is action and change and revolution, and there's nothing stopping it. Like the energy of that, there's nothing impeding Mars from interacting with Uranus, which is great when you want to make a change. But there's no. So change is gonna happen. Change is gonna happen. It's been a long time coming. Change is gonna come. It's coming in August. Oh, goodness gracious. I just dropped my oracle deck. I'll have to go pick that up after I do this. So we are using Tarot of the Spirit for for Scorpio. And this is one of my favorite decks. It's very Kabbalah-centric. It is based on the Kabbalah. And the book that comes with it is a fabulous book for Kabbalah. So if you don't have this deck and you're interested in the Kabbalah, this is a great deck to explore that. The art is very abstract. So it's like you're using a different part of your brain in a way. Let's see what's coming up for Scorpio. We have the Ten of Wind. This is the way of the cross. This is the Ten of Swords. Utter downfall. An ending. An ending. But an ending of a way of thinking. An ending of a way of... It's the end of the road for one whole series of thought forms. And on the other side of that, right, is a new beginning. But this is not an easy place to find yourself. What is a cross by? Faith. Faith that there is something on the other side of this. The way of the cross is deep suffering. But it's mostly mental suffering, right? It's mostly the mental anguish. And what crosses it is faith. And so how can you have faith at a time when everything is destroyed or gone, or whatever it is that is in your life that has come to an end? At the root is the Chariot. Really, it's come to an end because it's time for you to move on. It is time for you to move on. In the past, we have the Six of Fire. This is glory. This is victory. But victory at what cost? What has the victory cost you? In the sky, we have the Four of Earth. We have power. Power. So power is available to you. Of course, you're a Scorpio. Power is always available to you. I mean, Pluto is all about power, and it's in Capricorn. But there's a keyhole there. There's a keyhole there. What seems to be powerful on the outside, perhaps, when you look into the keyhole, you see where the real power lies. Where does the real power lie, Scorpio? The One of Wind, or the Ace of Swords, Dawn. We had the Ten of Swords to start, and now we have the Ace of Swords. So it's a new beginning. The light is the darkness is over, and the light is coming back. How it's seen from the outside, the universe, endings and beginnings. Another card, endings and beginnings. Domestic situation, the Wheel of Fortune. Things are changing in your domestic situation. If you were in a powerful position, perhaps you're no longer in a powerful position, or if you're in a disempowered position, you are moving into a more powerful position. This is the way of the world, right? The ups and downs. The key is to not get caught up in the ups and downs and the round and round, but to stay centered within it all, realizing that it is just a cycle that we're going through. Hopes and fears, the Ten of Fire. This is the Ten of Wands. This is burden, I would say. This is more of a fear. I don't think anybody hopes for burdens. And the outcome, the Six of Earth, beauty. This is fair distribution of resources. This is just beauty, beautiful things. The Six is harmony. It's the hexagon. It's the V, right? The little where the bees store the honey and all the sweetness of life is. This is associated with the heart. And this is a heart that is full of compassion for others. This is a heart that's full of wanting to balance the scales. Balance the scales. This is a beautiful card. You know, Scorpios are beautifully soulful individuals. And, you know, some Scorpios can be very dangerous and difficult and have no scruples at all. I don't meet those Scorpios, luckily. I meet the other Scorpios. You do attract what you put out. So depending on what you're putting out is perhaps the type of Scorpio that you're going to attract in your life. Okay, so I'm going to just pull a couple more, see if we can get a major arcana. We get the Father of Water, or the King of Cups, as it were. Interestingly enough, oftentimes this is seen as the Joe Biden card, right? But he is a Scorpio. He is a Scorpio, big time. So this reading could be for him actually as well. So the Father of Water is somebody who is compassionate, who does care about the people that he's in charge of. He has empathy for them. We have the Sister of Wind. This is the Truth Seeker. This is the Truth Seeker. It almost looks like Kamala Harris, doesn't it? And she is a Libra. So that looks like Joe and Kamala. And then the One of Earth. New beginnings, new opportunities. So I hate to, you know, bring the political stuff in, but sometimes it comes in. And of course, Joe is a Scorpio, so this could apply to him as well as anybody else. So in that realm, I'll just do very, very quickly about that. It seems like a plan is done. Something that he wanted done is done, but there's a new beginning and a new opportunity. And so even though it might seem like there is that something has been, what's the word I'm looking for? Destroyed. It's not the truth. There's another. It's about moving on and taking up a new sort of purpose or a new point of view. And that's true of all you Scorpios. Let's see what's underneath it all. We have crossing. This is the Two of Swords, being at a crossroads. And we have Temperance, which is about healing. It is about walking the middle path. It is about spiritual initiation. The challenge to walk together along the path, even if you do not agree with somebody else. All right, so let's see what the oracle cards say. Let me just pick them up off the floor. Okay, everyone. So I'm going to use the Soul Cards 2 by Deborah Koff-Chapin. And this deck does not have any, it doesn't tell you what the cards mean. You have to interpret them. And I'm picking these because they're called soul cards, and Scorpio really is the sign of the soul. Scorpio is the place in the man's path through the zodiacal signs where he has to give up his ego to his soul. And so Scorpio is where the soul speaks to us. And usually the soul speaks to us when everything, in a way, just like that Ten of Swords here, when everything is done, like death and, you know. But what's on the other side of that? Of course, Scorpio is associated with the Death card in the tarot. So we know that death simply is change. Death is simply change. Okay, let's pick This is the first one. Okay. Two. And one more. And I'm going to interpret these as I see it, but these cards are really up for self-interpretation. So as I do this, I want you to interpret it yourself. This is the third card. That looks like the full moon, right? When Uranus trines Mars. Yeah. Okay, so let's take a look at this card first. Okay. This to me looks like somebody who's focused on some sort of creative project. You don't know what it is. It's sort of the potential of something, because we don't know what it is. It could be anything. Could be a bunny. Could be a child. Could be just a project. He's also like looking into his hands. And for those of you who know a palmistry, or have had palmistry done, the story of your life is right in your hands, right? And perhaps, Scorpio, this would be a good time to go and have your palms read, right? Not by a gypsy who's going to try to take the curse off you. You know better than that, right? But by somebody who really knows what they're doing with the palm. I had a client who reads hands. You know who you are. I think you're going to be busy. All the Scorpios are going to come to you. And if you want, I don't know if you'll see this. Well, I guess if you're meant to see it, you'll see it. Comment and say, hey, you want your hands read? I can do that for you. This is the second card. This is about forward motion. But this person is almost like he's running, but it's almost like he's swimming, right? So this is sort of a whole body, and he doesn't look afraid. He looks a bit perplexed. But this card sort of reminds me of what it feels like. Like actually what it feels like today as I'm doing this. It's so humid out, and the air is so full of moisture that when you walk, it's like walking through water, really, which is not uncommon for this time of year and this area of the country. But there is this sort of intent to move in, and having to like use all parts of yourself to get through the thickness of the air. And so this does indicate that there can be challenges ahead as you for this creative project. But then by the full moon, right, we have this full moon here, laughing, and the guy, it's his face. It's his face. So the full moon, I think, is going to be a very pivotal time for you. And full moons are about something coming into fruition, something coming to birth. So I feel like the beginning of August is when you're dealing with the sense of loss that you have, and holding on to faith that things are going to turn around for you. And then by the full moon, they have turned around, and we have this new dawning for you. So very intense cards. But of course, you're a Scorpio. Would you expect any less? I wouldn't. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. Like and subscribe, and I will see you again next month for your Taroscope for Scorpio for September. Much love, everyone. Namaste.